What is up, guys? Destin Dumas here, back with another deck profile for you guys today. And today will be my updated Frog Paleozoic deck profile. Big changes. It just had to change. And I definitely catered the deck to be more favorable against a lot of matchups. This deck still is really bad against two Dracos. It's probably always going to be bad against true Dracos, but for other matchups, I always feel comfortable and really confident that I'm going to be able to take on any other deck strongly. So definitely that's why it's like this now. Let's get into it, guys. As always, I'll explain my card choices and pretty much why I play each and every single card in the deck, guys, and whatnot. So, starting off with the monster lineup, free swaps, Frog Engine has not changed, free dupe, and free toads. Standard, makes a lot of sense, and, pretty much that's how you play it. Free Great Slime Jr. still playing this card because I still think it's an amazing card in this deck. It does so much for you, and I just don't know why most builds don't play this deck. I mean, this card. Because it does a lot. So it's just another level 2 aqua. It being a tuner is really good too. So yeah, definitely sticking with free Grado. This card will not be coming out. Free Raiden and 2 Lumina for the Lightsworn engine. Still keeping the Lightsworn engine. It's not going to change. This engine to me is better than the spellbooks. Because with this deck, how I see it, consistency is increased when you get your Paleos in your graveyard. You don't need that many cards in your hand to. You just need a few monsters and whatnot and a couple of your traps, generally. So draw power to me isn't really that great in the deck. There's just other ways to increase consistency, and I feel like the milling aspect is better in this deck in particular. I want to start off with a few Paleozoics and a couple of Frogs, obviously, in swap, being in particular. But definitely Lightsworn, it's better, in my opinion. I love this engine. It's just, it does so much. So they're staying. And then last but not least, for the monster lineup, 2 Gamma Seal. Gotta main this. You just have to. This deck is not big on getting big monsters on board. So you gotta be able to get rid of your opponent's threats. You gotta get rid of the annoying cards. This card is just a must in the main deck, in my opinion. Definitely. It's always recyclable because it's a water attribute aqua type monster, so that's why Gamma Seal has a particular more synergy with this deck. Next up, we got the spells, free charge of the Light Brigade, and the big difference now for the spell lineup is Foolish Burial Goods is gone because it just doesn't do anything for you. It just became at a point where it just got so bricky. It just doesn't do anything. It doesn't help your game save. It doesn't increase your consistency, especially with anti-spell on board. Really, this is how I like to think about it. Really, you just need 75% of your paleo cards on it in your hand and field, right? So you draw them. And you just need like about 25% in your graveyard. You just need a few in your graveyard to really get going. Because then they'll keep going in your graveyard after you activate one after another, right? So that's why you don't need Foolish Burial Goods. It's just so many times it's just a dead draw. So I took it out. Influence some one-ofs. So the one-ofs are one Raigeki, most important really spell in the deck, because it's just in this deck particular you have to roll up your opponent's board. You just have to. You're going to have to more than not, especially if you're going second, because this deck is terrible going second. You want to go first. Monsterly Born, just bring anything back, which is nice. Foolish Burial, definitely a lot better than Soul Charge. Soul Charge is not really that good in this deck because one, you're not gonna have many monsters in your graveyard to use Soul Charge very effectively, and two, really, you really bring back your monsters either with using monster effects or Paleos has come back using their effects too. So it's really much better to use Foolish Burial because there are certain monsters you're gonna want to get in your graveyard. I always think of Foolish Burial in this deck as a fourth swap frog. It's just nice to have, and it's just much better than Soul Charge, in my opinion. Drafts start off with Paleos, free Canada, of course, your Book of Moon, free Illinois, MST, still rocking the Dynamisness. I know the discard is not that great because you have very few cards that you really want to discard, but to me, it's your only consistent form of removal in this deck. And it's another Paleozoic name, so you can bring it back from the graveyard as well. So it's worth playing. I still feel like this card is really good. You know, I almost wish you didn't have to discard though, but what can you do? And then free copies of Paleozoic Hallucihenia. To me, this is always going to be the unsung hero of this deck. This card is so underrated in my opinion. In fact, in my opinion, it is the most underrated Paleozoic trap card in the game. Because this deck struggles with getting over big monsters. It struggles in that. This is a control deck. This is not a deck that gets big monsters on board. You have to run this card, in my opinion, to be able to do that. Especially against ABC Dragon Buster. Because worst case scenario, what they're going to do is you're going to force them to bring back ABC. Right? So what you do is you target ABC Dragon Buster. They'll be forced to tag it out because you're going to run it over. So, and even if they chain the banish effect too, because it's not going to be a big deal, right? Because this is gonna be at the beginning of the turn most of the time, or you could just catch them by surprise, right? Say you have like a Toad and a Starboy, they're gonna banish the Toad. They're gonna try to banish the Toad, even though you know that, even though they know that you have a negation, they'll probably try to bait you, but that's the worst case scenario, making them tribute it off. So yeah, this card to me is an unsung hero. Rion Conchula, thinking of taking this out, but it still can be nice, bringing something back. And Double Wasp Wind, because this card is absolutely amazing in this deck, being able to negate your opponent's effects and cut their attack and bringing it back. Pretty much you want 4 copies of this card because of its effect. That is it for the main deck. Definitely how I would play it. It's definitely now the most consistent it's ever been, in my opinion. Extra deck. Tomb of Starboy, of course. Great in the deck for recycling and giving your monsters a boost. Free Toad, reason why you play this deck. And a normal Ocarus and Open Beanie have been cut to 1. I just don't go into these that much. I just don't. So, to me, it's definitely better this way because they still come up, of course, so you still need them. But on Opabinia, you really only need a couple searches per duel with this card. And once it's on board, you're pretty much going to be in a really good position. So you don't need another one. And normal Lucas, it's just so hard to summon. There's not a lot of consistent ways to summon. Grado Slime Jr. is probably the only consistent way to summon it. But then again, unless you have Paleozoic, you don't want to do that. Because you want to be able to pop on your opponent's turn. It's important. Sky Cavalry. Centauria. Comes up. Don't summon it that much, but it does come up. Synchros. Brianak. Gotta get rid of your opponent's threats. Crewing Synchro. I mean, opponents got their big monsters. You gotta be able to get over them and negate their effects and prevent your opponent from harming you. Dawn. You need to get over something. And it could be really nice bouncing swaps back. Because say you summon it off with freaking Gradle Slime Jr. this and the other Gradle. 2 copies of Slime Jr. in this. What you can do is Ronin Tonin, no, that's not what I wanted. Monster Reborn, Monster Reborn this, then bounce, swap back with Duel, and then redo your combos with swap, so it's nice for that. Michael, got out the Banish and the Mill, and Scarlight, no overboard wipe, need it. And then 1 Heavy Metal Foes Electromite and 1 ABC Dragon Buster for your Winter Cherries targets. That is it for the extra deck. Side, with personal preference, 2 Lancia, gotta play it against Invoked and ABC because they're up there with your worst matchups. Gotta prevent them from playing the game. Gamma Seal, 3rd one. Winter Cherries card is great. I would not play it at 3 because it's not always the most ideal to start out with, but it's still a great card nonetheless. And just, you need it against ABCs. You gotta get rid of the Dragon Buster because it's gonna end your life. Free anti-spell, obviously. Only 6 spells. It's amazing in this deck. It's a trap deck, so that's why you play anti-spell. 2 Breakthrough Skill, even if you mill it off, you can bring it back. Gotta negate your opponent's effects. Free Evenly Matched is probably your best matchup, best card against True Draco. Your best out. Probably is the best out, to be honest. So, and Double Mirror Force, because again, you know how many big monsters you gotta get rid of your opponent's board. You gotta punish them for overextending. Gotta. So that is it for the main deck. For the side deck and the entire deck in general. So, tell me what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Click on that notifications bell for more. Tell me if you have even more suggestions. I definitely think this update was really good and was really needed for this deck. So, I'm Destin Duas, guys. I'm signing off now. Peace! Have a great day, guys.